So diagramming in any form can be a little complicated. So I wanted to make these little refresher videos for you. So I'm going to do one video on how to diagram form function trees for noun phrases. So we're going to talk about what it means to go from a simple form function tree for like a single word noun phrase up to one that's more complex. So a basic noun phrase is usually just going to have a noun. Okay. And that noun might be something like squirrels. Okay. A single word. You could also have a standard noun phrase that might have a pronoun, like they. Okay. These are very basic, very simple, very straightforward noun phrases. And as you start adding determiners, adverbs, adjectives, they get a little bit more complex. So let's look at a slightly more complex noun phrase. Let's say we have the cat. Okay. Here we have a definite article, right? And cat is a noun. So that means that what we have is a determiner and a head word, which create our full noun phrase. In these, in terms of function, we just have a head word. So these are singular noun phrases because they have one head word. Okay. Another example might be, let's say their books. Okay. Here we have a possessive pronoun. Here we have a noun. Together, they are a noun phrase. There is functioning just like like a determiner, and books is still the head word for our noun phrase. So even though it's more complex, right? It's just more complex because there are more words. It's still functioning in the same way. You still have to have that head word. Now let's look at a quite complex one. So let's say the or a very fluffy dog. Okay, so four words, more complex. Um, Here we have an indefinite article, right? Very is actually an adverb. Fluffy is an adjective, and dog is a noun. Okay. So let's then look at how they function. So those are the forms. So let's take a look at the function. A is a determiner, just like the or their. Right? Now, very is an adverb. It's not a very dog. It's a very fluffy dog, which means that very is actually modifying fluffy, right? Fluffy is telling us about the dog, right? It's a fluffy dog. So that means fluffy is modifying dog, which makes it an adjective. And then dog is our head word. Okay, so when we're looking at a complex noun phrase, it's just about kind of tackling more words. And it doesn't matter like how many there are, it's going to be the same type of thing. So let's look at one more example. Let's do her really um black old car, right? Five words. Her is a possessive pronoun. Really is an adverb. Black is an adjective. Old is an adjective. And car is a noun. All together, these are going to give us a noun phrase, right? And so really the question on the table is what the function of all of these words have. So her is going to be determiner, right? Really, um, it's an adverb. So we're not saying her really car. We're saying her really black old car. It would be different if we were saying her black really old car. Because really appears next to black, it's going to be modifying the intensity of the black, right? Whereas black will modify car just as old modifies car, right? If we said her black really old car, then really would modify old. And car is going to be the head word of that noun phrase. So I am not as concerned with you separating out or distinguishing adjective phrases, which oftentimes do appear within noun phrases. So for instance, really black would be an adjective phrase on its own, just like old would be an adjective phrase on its own. My biggest concern when you guys are doing these sorts of form function trees, if you do, is that you are able to identify the form that the words take and distinguish that from the function that they have in the clause or the phrase to which they belong, right? So I don't care so much about what the lines look like, how you draw them. I am interested in you understanding where the noun phrase is, what each of the forms of the words in the noun phrase are, what each of the function of those words in the noun phrase are. So hopefully this video will make you feel a little bit more confident if you end up drawing form function trees for any of them.